From rebellion to superpower, the story of America is one of courage, conflict, and creation. It's a tale written in revolution, tested by war, and forged in the fires of innovation. This is the journey of a nation that dared to be different, a story of how a small group of colonies became the most powerful country in the world. How did it happen? In the next 7 minutes, we'll uncover the epic story of the United States. In the 18th century, 13 British colonies dotted the Atlantic coast, simmering with discontent. They were tired of taxation without representation, of a king an ocean away dictating their lives. In 1776, a bold idea took root and blossomed into a declaration. A new experiment in democracy began, built on hope, vision, and sacrifice. The American Revolution was more than a war for land, it was a war for an ideal. Against all odds, a ragtag army led by George Washington stood against the mightiest empire on earth. They fought for the radical notion that all men are created equal, endowed with inalienable rights. After years of struggle, a new nation was born, founded not on a shared ancestry, but on a shared creed, enshrined in a revolutionary document, the Constitution. With independence secured, the young nation looked westward. It was a time of boundless optimism and relentless expansion. The Louisiana Purchase doubled the country's size overnight, fueling a belief in manifest destiny, the idea that America was destined to stretch from sea to shining sea. Pioneers in covered wagons pushed across vast plains and rugged mountains, seeking new lives and new opportunities. But this expansion came at a great cost, displacing Native American tribes and raising a dark, unavoidable question: would this new land be free, or would it be built on the backs of enslaved people? The issue of slavery became the nation's deepest wound, a moral crisis that could not be ignored. The tension finally erupted into the deadliest conflict in American history. The Civil War nearly tore the country apart. Brother fought against brother, and the very idea of a United States hung by a thread. President Abraham Lincoln, with quiet resolve, guided the nation through its darkest hour, framing the war not just as a fight to preserve the Union, but as a struggle for the soul of America. With the Emancipation Proclamation, he declared that millions held in bondage would be forever free. From the ashes of war, a stronger, more unified nation was born, but the scars would take generations to heal. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery, marking a monumental step toward fulfilling the promise of liberty for all. In the decades that followed, America transformed. The Industrial Revolution swept across the land, powered by steel, steam, and ambition. Railroads stitched the vast continent together, turning remote frontiers into connected communities. Inventors like Thomas Edison and Alexander Graham Bell lit up the world and connected it with voices. Skyscrapers began to pierce the clouds in cities like New York and Chicago, symbols of a new, modern America. Millions of immigrants from every corner of the globe sailed past the Statue of Liberty, seeking refuge and a chance at a new life. They flocked to bustling cities, worked in factories, and added their own threads to the rich, diverse tapestry of American culture. This era of explosive growth turned the United States into an industrial giant, a new power on the world stage. As the 20th century dawned, America could no longer remain isolated from global conflicts. It was drawn into the Great War, and a generation of young men went over there to fight on the fields of Europe. Just 2 decades later, the world plunged into darkness again. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, America entered World War II, a conflict that would redefine its role in the world. The nation mobilized on an unprecedented scale. Factories churned out planes and tanks, and millions of men and women served in uniform. From the beaches of Normandy to the islands of the Pacific, Americans fought to defend freedom against tyranny. Emerging from the war as one of 2 global superpowers, America stepped onto the global stage not by choice, but by destiny. This began a new kind of struggle, the Cold War, a tense ideological standoff with the Soviet Union that would last for nearly half a century and push humanity to the brink, from the Cuban Missile Crisis to the race for the moon. While America confronted its enemies abroad, it also faced a profound struggle at home. The civil rights movement demanded that the nation live up to its founding ideals. Led by visionaries like Martin Luther King Jr., brave activists marched, protested, and risked their lives to dismantle segregation and secure the right to vote for African Americans. Their courage forced the country to confront its own hypocrisy and inspired a wave of social change that reshaped American society. In the same era, America looked to the heavens. The space race with the Soviet Union captured the world's imagination, culminating in 1969 when Neil Armstrong took one small step onto the surface of the moon, a giant leap for mankind and a testament to American ingenuity and determination. The late 20th century ushered in the digital age. From the garages of Silicon Valley, a new revolution was born, one of microchips and personal computers. Companies like Apple and Microsoft changed the way we work, communicate, and live. The internet connected the world in ways previously unimaginable, unleashing a new era of globalization and information. America's culture, its movies, music, and ideas spread across the globe, creating a powerful soft power that shaped tastes and trends everywhere. From the fall of the Berlin Wall, which signaled the end of the Cold War, to the rise of the digital frontier, America continued to redefine what was possible, driving global innovation and culture. But the story of America is not without its trials. Each generation faces its own test. The attacks of September 11, 2001 were a horrific shock, a moment of profound grief that tested the nation's resolve. Yet, in the face of tragedy, the country showed remarkable resilience and unity. Economic crises have shaken its foundations, and political divisions have strained its social fabric. But through it all, the idea of America endures. It is a nation built on change, constantly grappling with its past while striving for a more perfect union. It is a mosaic of cultures, a place where diversity is not just tolerated, but is increasingly celebrated as a source of strength. The story of America is not perfect, but it's powerful, a nation forever reinventing itself, forever reaching for the ideals laid down centuries ago. It's a story that is still being written by every citizen, every day. The journey continues, driven by the same spirit of hope, courage, and ambition that sparked a revolution so long ago. Thanks for watching. If you want to explore more stories that shaped our world, subscribe to the TimeKeeper HQ, where history lives on. See you next time.